tell you what I'm talking about, ladies. Ladies, you know what I mean. When you in love, you give your everything. Ooh, but this time it's for me. If you can do with you, I'm gonna do me. Ladies, help me sing it. Yeah. If tonight the truth. I'm tired of singing. I want to talk to the ladies for 1 second. Do y'all know what this song is about? This song is about truly being free. You know you're free when you finally got enough strength to tell that private liar, good for nothing less. You don't want them, you don't want them, you don't want them, no. You've been doing you, I'm gonna do me, I'm free. Yeah. Tell me, I don't wanna hear it.
All right, guys. So can't sleep. Hard for me to sleep. So I figured, what the hell? I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about this movie that I would advise everyone to go see, and it is Apple TV's The Banker. That movie is a godsend, man. That movie was great from start to finish. It's not an action filled movie. It's not. It's a suspense thriller, I guess, in a sense. Um, I wouldn't say thriller, like it depends, but yeah, I guess it was. It was a high stakes drama movie. There was not a lot of propaganda in the movie. There wasn't anything. Well, I guess if you're if you're a person that's like a racist, you probably would think this movie has a lot of propaganda in it. Really, I don't think that. Um, I liked the movie. I liked what the brother Anthony Mackie did a fantastic job in this movie. That brother did a hell of a job in this movie. I mean, he really did a damn good job. Him, Samuel L. Jackson was actually comedic. I love this movie. I love what it represented. This is probably one of the best movies I've seen in a long damn time. I'm telling you right now. I mean, the whole way they put the movie together, the plot, everything, the way it was written, it didn't show brothers in a bad light. It didn't show women in a bad light. They didn't really take a jab at anybody outside of racism, of course. But it was deep, man. Oh yeah, but I mean, what can I say? I mean, this movie, and of course, there will be spoilers in this because but let me go ahead and say it. Give you a couple of seconds if you want to stop the video, but if not, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The movie, first of all, was a fantastic movie because number one, um, it shows black men as far as what we had to go through, what was done in those days, how it was done, um, and it just showed that okay, brothers with supreme intelligence, what they could do if they had to drive. You know, it kind of bothered me. It bothered me because I'm gonna tell you why. Because me, I want to own apartments. This brother owned apartment complexes. They got so slick. They went and bought a downtown building for a lot of stuff. They probably all right, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. So at the end, they gonna wind up just getting screwed. But they probably wouldn't have got screwed over if they had to start their own bank. That probably would have been easier. You know what I'm saying? Um, and they probably could have used it by starting it in California and then setting up a branch in Texas like that. What's up, man? What's up, Tony? But the movie, man, I'm talking about. I love that damn movie because I understand the guys. Let me explain something to you. Wealth, land, real hard assets. That's where the real power starts, man. That's where the power lies. You know what I'm saying? America is America because of wealth, because of resources, because of productivity. You know, America's America. America's not America because they just went and raped some shit out of Africa, like a lot of people like to say. That's some intellectually lazy bullshit. If you think Silicon Valley is just all based on that, then you really don't understand intellectual property, the wherewithal and discipline that it takes to be able to develop shit. But this movie, why did I like this movie? First of all, it showed a brother who was willing to go into his community. He gave a damn about his people. He went home. He was a multimillionaire. I'm assuming by the time he went to California. Then he came back. When he came back, he was a multimillionaire because he had been doing deals with Samuel L. Jackson. They finagled the banks in California, and they bought the land. Once they bought the land, they owned the property. Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm a little tired. They owned the property. So when they owned the property, they were able to get deals done with the banks, right? And so what made this real deep was once they got the deals done with the bank, they made millions. They bought up all of the white areas in California, the predominantly white areas. They owned a lot of the land. Now these are black dudes. They had 180 properties between the two of them in California, out in Los Angeles. They bought a building for like 1.5, 1.6 million dollars back then. That building had like 12 banks in it. They pretty much could borrow money from all of them because they owned the building. Once they did that, man, they were millionaires basically. So they had to get a white guy to kind of fake it, right? And so once they did that, he went home to see his dad. His dad was like, "Son, I'm proud of you." Had a little scene like that. And so he said, "Look, man, black people in Texas where he was from, he's like, man, all these black people down here suffering." He didn't like that shit. So yeah, he was good. He made his money. He was a multimillionaire in the 50s, living in California. But he was like, man, I'm sick of coming home to see my dad and my people and seeing black folks struggling because they have a lack of resources. Nobody wants to loan them any money. The bank's just full of shit, right? So he said, fuck it, I'm gonna just go buy this little small bank. He was trying to go up in the what was he trying? He was trying to get his shoes shined. And the guy told him, look, man, you can't even stand in front of this motherfucker to get. He said, no, he said, we only shine white shoes, white people's shoes. So he's like, what? It was a black kid. So from there, he was like, man, fuck this shit. I'm gonna buy this damn bank, right? Which is what he commenced to doing. He got the white guy that he trained, and he went and got him to buy banks. Well, once he bought it, he bought the first bank. Well, they only bought two, but he bought that first one. There was a white guy who was there, was upset because he thought the bank was gonna go to him, and he went to his dad. His dad sold it to the other white guy. He was upset, but he still worked in the bank. Well, he was a problem from day one. They should have let his ass go, but they didn't. And from there, he started creeping. He got in there, and within the first month, they was writing loans like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple of weeks, they wrote like 20 loans to black people. Well, that gave him a problem. The dude was on their ass. So then they were getting audited because somebody mysteriously made some phone calls. And that's how shit be with white folks. There's a lot of mysterious shit going on. Don't nobody know, but somebody made an anonymous call and tipped off the government that you guys are doing this or doing that. That shit was said at least 3 or 4 times in this movie. It never really explains who. It kind of explains it at one scene, but not really. Man, from there, they go and buy another bank, and the white guy that they trained, and this is kind of like how it works anyway. This is how it works. I kind of figured, this is what I thought. I said, man, that shit ain't gonna work because I don't give a fuck how stupid somebody can have an IQ of 75. Okay. If you sit them down and you explain to that person that you're doing deals and this is how you're gonna do them. Well, yeah, it's on Apple TV, TJ. You have to get an Apple TV subscription. You can download the app, but you would have to buy it on the internet. Go and purchase it on the Apple website, your subscription. Then log back into the app, you'll be able to watch it. Right. So if you take anybody, and I've seen this shit done, I've seen people that didn't know shit about real estate, didn't know shit about investing, anything. But when they hang around people and they see people making moves and they learn the numbers and start crunching the numbers and learning, what happened is eventually, which is what happened with the white guy, he started wanting his own shit. And the way they painted the movie, I can kind of see why they filmed the movie like they did. They can't show the movie and show the white boy to be a crook. They made him seem like a damn angel. They did, the white guy. But I was about to go see it last week, and I decided to go ahead and wait and get an Apple TV subscription. The thing is, the white boy got cocky not cocky, but I guess he just got ambitious, like which I couldn't blame him. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to have his own thing. He wound up getting them to buy a second bank to try to save them because they was about to get audited, and so they pushed a couple of the black loans over to the other bank that they bought. They rigged it up a certain way. It was all legit legally within the law. There's nothing illegal about it, but of course they are black. So all that shit go out the window. And this is one of the classic cases of how the law don't mean shit when white folks want you. It's just like today when you see a motherfucker like George Zimmerman get off, or Tamir Rice when they killed Tamir Rice, or the guy John Crawford in the Walmart, they shot him. He's sitting in the Walmart minding his business. They shot. They didn't ask him to drop the gun. He just killed him. Got off scot free. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. When you see stuff like that, that lets you know that it's America. This is the culture of America. So this movie was no different. They bent the rules to try to get these brothers because, quite frankly, they didn't technically break the law. Now, one thing that, well, at the end, the white guy broke the law because what he did was he went and bought back some loans trying to save this bank after they was getting audited. Somebody tipped off the other bank, the second bank. So they was about to shut that one down. Like, all right, man, we'll lose $300,000, but fuck it. So they go home. Well, the white boy, that was it. They had gave him part ownership of the second bank, and he was like, "Damn, this was my chance." And basically he made a mistake and fucked it up. It was the white boy's oversight. He didn't really dive too deep into the shit, and he went to the guy who formerly owned the second bank's son, which still worked in the bank, and asked him to get a lawyer because the time was a problem for them, right? So they do that. They go and they get the other lawyer. Come to find out, the lawyer didn't do everything he was supposed to do. They wanted to sue him because they kind of knew that the lawyer did some dirty shit, but they couldn't really prove it. He's like, man, we black, we can't sue this guy. We just gonna have to let this shit go. Well, the white boy decides, the one they trained, he decides to say, fuck it. I'm gonna buy back the loans with the first bank, which was a dumb move. Literally, somebody makes an anonymous tip. The damn FDIC comes in and fires that guy that day, the white guy that they trained. And then they get outside, the FBI comes and grabs the two brothers, Samuel and Anthony Mackie, and lock them up. That tell you it's only one person that's the common denominator. It is the son of the former owner of the bank, who literally bought that bank back at 25 cents on the dollar once they got pressed by the government, right? So that's the gist of it. They wound up going to jail. They get released. They get bailed out, but of course they had a court case, and they was pretty much told, look, man, go in there and just say you did it on some dirty shit, bending the rules. They really didn't bend the rules. It was actually legal. But they wanted them to do that, and the guy from Arkansas wanted them to say it so he could try to grandstand. He was a senator because they actually had to go to Washington for this shit, right? Because they was wanting to change the banking laws, right? So when they get there, he basically decides to say, fuck it. Anthony Mackie does. And he just stands up and tells the truth. I mean, fuck this shit, man. Y'all keeping us from wealth. Y'all doing this shit because you hate black people, and you keeping these banking laws fucked up where black people can't generate wealth. If you can't give us loans, our business is a scrap, because they had scenes in the movie where once he got into banking, there was a bunch of black people that had struggling businesses. This dude was like, man, I doubled my revenue. Man, as soon as y'all gave me that loan, man, I bought right equipment and it doubled my revenue in my business. There was another scene in the movie where I think it was like a hardware store. It was all run down looking. Man, they had that shit looking brand new once he got in there and started giving loans. And a lot of black people's businesses are underfunded to this day. You know what I'm saying? And so it really kind of made me think a certain way about that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so that right there, I honestly think what this movie will do. Now, this is my personal opinion. I think they're gonna have this movie shelved. You're barely gonna hear anything about it. It's probably not gonna win any awards. I'll be shocked if it gets nominated. Although they did a great job on this damn movie. Nia Long was an angel in this movie. She didn't do anything stupid. She had one or two comments here and there, but it's Nia Long. You know what I'm saying? She's the one that put the white man in Best Man too. That was her idea, right? So this is the same woman. So she put a few little feminist spins in there, but it really they played this movie so good because it was like she kept saying, "I believe in you," and this she was saying some good shit. You know what I'm saying? So she kind of had a little cachet to throw a few feminist words around here and there. Because she was doing the right things and hitting on all cylinders for the most part. Um, this movie, let me tell you what happened. So after he stands up in the Senate and does what he does, uh, basically he goes to jail for 3 years, which ain't that bad. Let's be honest. I thought they was finna get him boys 40 years. You know what I'm saying? He did 3 years. But the beautiful thing about it, they had a flashback when he got out of prison. He was walking out the gates and shit like that. When he gets out, he's walking out, and then he hugs Neil Long, his wife, and he's like, "Man, let's go home." She's like, "Well, we ain't got no home like that." He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you." The night before they had a flashback. So the night before, the white guy who they had trained actually picked the phone up and called him, told him, "Look, man, I'm gonna have to turn against you." He's like, "Man, do what you got to do." He said, "Man, but make sure before we do this, let's buy a couple of properties in the Bahamas." So that's what they did. They bought some properties in the Bahamas. And when they bought those properties, that gave them their start. Now, this is actually a true story. Everything I'm telling you is pretty much true. I hadn't really, now some of it's probably off a little bit, but this is pretty much how, historically, from what I was able to gather, from what I did, but a little research and stuff, I think this is true. And what happened, they wound up buying properties in the Bahamas and then came back to the States. And they can't, they, once you know it, right? Even though they had been in prison, those brothers were able to amass fortunes again. And it said at the end of the movie that they were influential in the, allowing fair housing in Los Angeles. These two brothers were black men, So I love shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I love shit. I love seeing shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And there was a couple of scenes in the movie where he was mentoring his cousin. No. His, I guess, brother-in-law or his uncle's son. So her cousin. So it's his cousin-in-law, right? It's the dude from Buyer's Remorse on Showtime, the guy that has the basketball show. Anyway, he was in there, and there were scenes in the movie where he was trying to mentor him as a young brother. Like, yeah, man, so this how you do it. He was showing him how to rehab houses and shit. So I love that shit. So I was like, okay, he invested in the community. He gave a fuck about his community, and it didn't ruin his fucking life. Now, he kind of took a detour that he probably could have figured out another way. You didn't have to buy a bank. Shit, why not just start a bank? Then you can hire who the fuck you want to hire, which it could be literally all black people. You could just start it in a state where you probably could have got away with it, like maybe California, because you had clout. Look, these dudes was taking pictures with Lyndon Baines Johnson when he was vice president. Okay, so that's how influential and powerful these guys were in Los Angeles. And you had the wealth and the access to knowledge and shit that you probably could have started your own bank. But I'm gonna say this, man. Once them brothers did what they did, that movie's probably one of the best movies I've seen, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because to me, man, entertainment, guys, this is my personal opinion. Entertainment has to kind of touch me in a place. I've never seen some shit like this. This is what I've exactly said I wanted to see on the big screen. I've said this 1,000 times. I said, why not show a black man building his wealth and some shit like that, and the struggles that he or she would face in the midst of that. Now you got two movies. You got The Banker premiering yesterday, and you have Self-Made. Self-Made has some propaganda in it. The daughter, I found out, shout out to Rashida Strober. She actually talked about this. The daughter squandered the fortune of Madam C.J. Walker. And Annie Turnbull Malone, like I said, was worth way more money than Madam C.J. Walker, right? But you wouldn't know that in watching these movies. It was a bunch of bullshit in that. So that's why I said that movie is a B, it's not an A+ movie. The Banker, I don't have shit to say. I ain't got shit bad to say about The Banker. That movie checks out. It's solid from start to finish. I don't have anything bad to say about the movie. There was some look, man, some movies you're not gonna get greenlit unless you put small hats in them and show small hats in a good light. The white guy that they trained was a small hat, which actually is true, right? So, that probably has a lot to do with why this movie got greenlit. You know what I'm saying? Who was on the interview, Tita? Who was Teta? Who was on the interview? It was a good movie, man. I think what you guys want to really, go ahead, man. It's only $5, man. They got a 7-day trial. You can cancel your membership after you watch it. Shit, watch it once or twice and cancel your membership. But I'm gonna tell you, man, like I never see movies where they show black people in an empowered state like that. Like they show us in a situation of power. You know, these brothers was in a situation. Look, man, I ain't in that situation today. That's where I want to be. This brother was buying apartment complexes, and then they jumped into single family later, but they was buying apartments. They started with apartments. This brother had a business. He had a good business sense. He was very good at math. Guys, this is why I believe that you should take your children. This boy was as a shoe signer. The movie at the beginning, it was showing him trying to understand present value, future value, capitalization rates, you multipliers, all that shit. He was trying to figure that shit out at like as a teenager or as a little kid, right? So by the time he got older, that shit, he knew the shit like the back of his hand. He could do numbers like, all right, man. So let's say you're making $5,000 a month times 12, back out vacancy maintenance. You're looking at, let's say that's $60,000, back out, okay, 10% cap rate, $450,000 valuation. Like he could do it just like that, right? That's how he was with them numbers, because he had been doing it his whole life. He talked about it was just a lot of things. We was showing him as a math whiz. Guys, think about this shit. You have a black man in a movie who's sick with math. I'm talking about sick. I'm talking about he was up there on the charts on the board explaining shit. And he knew shit like the top of his head, like the back of his damn hand. He just knew it. You know what I'm saying? The group of black guys who was in Colorado. Check out the interview with Strength. The group of black guys who was in Colorado. Trump just released one. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I'll check that out, Tedder. But I'm gonna say this, man. See, people be talking about Trump. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna even say that. Trump did for brothers, for black people. He really has. It is what it is. I ain't gonna even say nothing. Because I don't want to be a fan of anybody, Republican or Democrat, but I am objective when it comes to certain things. I'll be fair. But anyway, the whole thing with this movie, man, this is a damn good movie. I would advise anybody go ahead and get your membership. This is the movie. See, I'm gonna tell you what I don't like about us as black people. What we do, we don't support shit like this. These aren't the films we're gonna support. We're gonna go and support Black Panther, which I could go there on that movie, but I'm not. I mean, Black Panther. I like Black Panther. I like Killmonger. I like the movie. It was a good movie. It was, but there's some things about Black Panther I didn't like, especially the end when he shares the shit with the rest of the world. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? You see how the world operates. You see what type of people they are. You see what they did to the rest of Africa, but you finna share your shit with them. Okay. I didn't like that. I didn't like, this is a lot of shit I didn't like. The Okoye character, the way she talks in real life, I don't fuck with her. That African actress that played Okoye, I don't fuck with her. I don't fuck with what she does. So a lot of movies that we should support, we don't support. Like this movie's probably not going to get a lot of black support, just like Birth of a Nation did. Birth of a Nation was a damn good movie. They didn't support that either. You get what I'm saying? We're not going to support movies that are really, showing us in a good light. I don't think it was by happenstance that this movie was postponed, and now I see why. Because when they postponed it, they'd already kind of had the early screenings of it, and there was some rumblings about this movie, and then all of a sudden, it just, this person comes out of the woodwork. Yeah, and the son used to rape me when I was a child. Like, okay, whatever. So you gonna fuck the movie up? At least let the movie come out in the movie theaters. It was gonna premiere back in January. It probably would have made a lot of money in January. Now motherfuckers is sick. I mean, not sick, but scared. So it didn't make as much in the movie theater because everybody's sitting their ass in the house right now. And I just think this movie could have been bigger than what it was. and people are afraid to kind of release these types of movies. Even in Atlanta, man, I saw where they was only showing that shit at like one theater 3 times a day. I was really pissed about it. I'm like, this Atlanta, y'all gonna show The Banker once, 3 times a day? That's it. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and like 7 o'clock or some shit. That was it. I was like, damn, it's only one theater, and you couldn't buy the shit online. So you got to ride all the way across town to get in there. You know what I'm saying? And I was about to do it. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it on what's the name. But we're not gonna support shit like that. You know, I'll be shocked if this movie really does well. We will never know. It's a streaming service, so. But this is probably one of the best damn movies in a long damn time. It is. I would have to rank it up there with Pursuit of Happiness. I mean, it's a damn good movie, man. Pursuit of Happiness was a good ass movie. You know what I'm saying? Will Smith acted his ass off in that movie, and you felt it when he walked out and he got that job, and he was crying and just emotional. I felt that shit. I really felt that shit, and I know what it's like to struggle in a fucking business, or not even in a business, just struggle. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's some shit that I think black people can relate to. That is a facet of the human emotion that needs to be brought to the silver screen. I think we need more roles where we're showing us in what we face in the everyday life, man. That's some shit that's underserved. We got 1,000 romantic comedies. We got 1,000 teeny bopper movies, right? What we don't have, we got Mud Deal. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Mud Deal is Mud Deal. But what I'm saying is, what's the name tries to do different shit, but we shit on him, Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is. This is why I support Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry can get shit. Now, with me living in Atlanta, I fuck around and get my hands on some real money. I would go to Tyler Perry Studios and probably produce a movie. I would say, man, I want to see a movie about so and so, so and so. I want to see a movie about A.G. Gaston. I know his family. Or how about a movie about Greg Calhoun? The guy I just showed y'all. That would be a hell of a movie about a black guy who was the first black grocery store owner in the South, pretty much, and on the BE 100 Black Enterprise, and was actually influential in a lot of different people's lives. How about a movie about this guy, or at least a documentary about a guy like that? There needs to be one. You know what I'm saying? We need to really point out and highlight our black heroes. This movie was about two of our black heroes, man. And I would advise anybody, especially if you have a young black boy, they need to see this fucking movie. They need to see it. One of the movies that really had a profound effect on my life was Malcolm X. That movie had an effect on me, like it did. Growing up, Boomerang, that's another one. That movie had an effect on me. Not because it was somewhat a romantic comedy, but just because of what it showed. Black people in a fly position. That was the first time I ever saw some shit like that. Go back before Boomerang, that shit had never existed in film. That's why the critics hated that movie. It's a rhyme and reason in Hollywood. Everything you see in a movie has a rhyme and a reason to it. Everything, every plot, everything. In fact, even this movie, as much as I'm espousing this movie, it had a white savior. It did. It had a white savior. It had two of them, actually. The first guy that did a deal and the second guy. The first guy did a deal, and then actually it was three of them. The first guy did a deal with the guy, and the guy was able to buy his first property. The second guy was a Irish guy who was working with him. They bought up like 13, 14 properties around LA. And then he dies one night. His wife is racist, obviously. And so she kind of forces him out. But then he goes and buys the biggest damn bank. And that's when he got the third white savior, which was the white guy. The white guy helped him. The white guy who was working somewhere in a factory some damn way. He had no real skills in them, but he was white. That's who they trained. And one of the things you got to learn about training people, bringing people on, give a fuck what you do. A lot of times when you're in a situation, you the one with all the knowledge, you train a motherfucker, they'll get up to speed quick, and they're going to start thinking for themselves, which is what you should expect, and you should plan for it. You either do one off and keep it moving, or if you're going to keep that, because that white boy kind of basically fucked their whole operation up. It was supposed to be a mistake, but he didn't go to jail. Think about that shit. Only people that went to jail was the two black men. I shit you not. White boy didn't go to jail. And he made mistakes. Now we think that shit was fake. We think it was a mistake. The way the movie shows it, it was a mistake. But shit, I don't know, man. And then he didn't tell them. He made moves without telling them that basically wound them up in jail for fraud. And then went and testified before Congress and said because he facing 50 years, at least that's what they said. He ain't facing no damn 50 years for no white collar crime. But because he facing 50 years, he had to go ahead and turn on them. So he basically said they was the masterminds of it. That's what happened. White boy. Scot free. Whatever little money he had, he kept. See how that shit went? See what I'm saying? Watch who you bring on your fucking team. Now, we supposed to watch this movie and think that this white guy was just innocent. Was he? I'm going to probably err on the side of no, he probably wasn't. He probably turned on your ass. He worked in close quarters with that white boy that hated him. He knew that white boy, he knew he was white and his ass was white too. White people stick together. Ain't no telling what the fuck they did. See what I'm saying? Ain't no telling, man. Ain't no telling. They had to get a call from somebody else to kind of help them, which actually that's the fourth white savior. So this movie was riddled with white saviors. That's the only thing I don't like about Hollywood. In order to get a movie greenlit, you got to kind of write it a certain way. And if you go listen to, that's why I love Birth of a Nation, because there was no white savior in that whole damn movie. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna have a movie without a white savior, it has to be a romantic comedy. It can't be a drama on some real life or death shit. Can't be. Mm-mm. So Birth of a Nation really turned out to be a movie that really showed us in a positive light, showed us, it's not just, I showed our ancestors, it's not just some weak doormats like a lot of people will say on YouTube and shit on our ancestors and say that they was stupid, dumb people that all you had to do was give them a Bible verse and they didn't have no dreams and passions and desires. They just was slaves obey your masters. That's it. That's all you got to say. Oh, it's in the Bible. Okay. Like we think our ancestors was that damn stupid. I'm a believer. I ain't that damn stupid. What make you think I'm so much smarter than our ancestors? They was people just like I was, like I am, So, but anyway, Birth of a Nation was a good movie. And, when we have these types of movies, we don't support them. Well, first of all, we can't support this movie. I mean, you literally will have to sign up for Apple TV. And Apple TV is like a fraction of what it's supposed to be right now. You would have to go and sign up for all this other extra shit. And I can't do it. I done signed up for Sling. I done signed up for somebody, hacked my account and gave me a big ass $55 bill from Hulu. I just found out today that shit happened. There's a lot of shit happened, man. So I just they done took 3 months of free Hulu off my ass. I ain't know shit about it. I go in my damn history because I hadn't been logging in. I go in the history and look in there, and motherfuckers been watching all types of movies and shit. I hate when people do shit like that. I hate it when people don't have no character and they steal from people. I don't have time. You know how much creativity and energy it takes to be able to go and hack into somebody's shit and steal their shit. Why don't you figure out how to sell a fucking? I can show you 5 or 6 businesses right now with the same amount of effort and energy that you sat trying to figure out how to break into my shit. You probably could have made $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in them 3 months selling shit on Amazon or something. But what you want to do? You want to steal my shit for $50 fucking dollars. Sorry ass. It is what it is, man. But guys, go see The Banker. That movie was a good ass movie. It was. I mean, I expect to go to the movies and see White Saviors. So outside of that, it was a good ass movie. There's not too much bad I can say about it, to be honest with you. I mean, I just told you everything bad. It just had the White Saviors in it. But actually, that shit, I'm gonna tell you something else. The way you look at the White Savior scenario. In the first piece where he had the White Savior, the guy. Okay, so let's look at this. He has a business. He does that business, and he has about $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 saved up. Right. He moves to California with the $35,000 cash. He's trying to buy property. He can't find none, so he goes to the bank. He finds this building for about $30,000. I don't know how many units it was, but he couldn't get the money, so he went to the bank, and he basically what happened? He went to this guy to get him to partner with this white guy to try to partner him with him. The white guy wouldn't do it, right? So what he did was he went to a bank and lied and said that he knew this guy, this particular guy, who he just tried to borrow the money from. He said he was a friend of his. That got him the meeting with the bank people, and they messed around, and they called the guy who he said he knew, I guess, to verify. When they called it, I guess he didn't say he didn't know him. In fact, he gave him a call and he was like, "Yeah, so did you use the bank to try to say that you know me?" He's like, "Yeah, but in this climate, people like me and my, I have to do what I have to do to get business done. If I didn't do that, I'd still be a I'll be signing shoes in Texas, right?" So the dude was like, "You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna help you with the deal." Now, can you call that a white savior? Technically, by definition, yes. But let me say this right here, to his credit. He would not have gotten here, and I can say this because I've done business, and I've had white people do shit before and help me. I have had that shit happen. I had a white man write out some money for my first house. But guess what? I had to buy that house. I had to fix it up to a certain extent on my own by myself. Then, and only then, did this white guy say, "All right, man, you real close to the end." The guy that my dad worked for, he said, "I'm gonna write out a $5,000 check. Here you go." And that's how my house got done, my first house. So a white man helped me get on my feet. A lot of times, guys, in life, people, man, if I'm riding down the street and you outside on a hot summer day pushing a car, people will pull over. I will pull over, usually, and help you push that damn car in life. That's what that brother represented. He was a brother who went and had the discipline, intestinal fortitude to get his hands on $30,000 in the 50s, which was probably worth $150,000, $170,000, $180,000 liquid. That's what that was like, right? That's how much money he had. But when he was able to do that, that put him in a different space mentally with other people. People respect discipline. People respect effort. And a lot of times people will help you if they see you out here taking the time and effort and energy to get your shit on your own. You know what I'm saying? That's real. I know it's late. I'm finna go lay my ass down because I'm sleepy, but I want to give y'all that right quick. Y'all have a good one.